Doing well. Great to be with you again on this wonderful Tuesday evening. As you can see, we're starting a whole different thing right now. We're outside and we are here with our guest tonight. We have a really wonderful person here with us. This is Charisse. She is the owner, the founder, and creator of this beautiful organization, Tranquil Trims. And Tranquil Trims is all about, as it says here, a positive grooming experience. So it's all about understanding dogs' fears and phobias and anxieties and sometimes their past traumas from grooming, and they go into these gentle, loving hands. Look at these beautiful, gentle, loving hands that will grace them and hold them and comfort them. I met Charisse a few months ago, probably about a half a year ago, when our dog, Benny, who you all know from our videos, our terrier, he was so traumatized after a grooming experience. He'd gone to the same space that he typically went to, but this time, it just, whatever happened, he was terrified. He was not the same for days. So I decided at that point, we've got to find a different way to do this grooming thing. I can't keep taking him back there. And that's when I was introduced to this amazing woman. And so we'll hear more about her story and how she came to all of this soon. But of course, both of us, all of us, Renee behind the scenes, the dogs in the house, we'll all go there in a moment. But we just want to welcome all of you and ask you if you are willing, just let us know that you're here, let us know where you're tuning in from, and share this out with the world, especially if you know someone that has a dog that's regularly groomed or has some fear or anxieties, or maybe a new dog. They'd really appreciate hearing the messages that we have to share tonight. So thanks again, and we're going to take you on a tour first. So come on this way.
Yes, let's do this.
Yeah, so Charisse, you go ahead and take it over, girl, for a little while here.
This is where the magic happens. Come on in. So inside here is pretty much, well, I guess you could kind of call it a doctor's office. But we have our grooming table. A lot of people ask me specifically, oh, how do you get the big dogs up there and how do you get them into the bathtub, which is over here. So the grooming table moves up and down very slowly, which is really nice. Doesn't make a lot of noise, so it doesn't scare them. And usually I'll talk to the dogs too if they seem to be nervous and get them up on the table, tell them, okay, we're going to go for a little ride. So this comes on up. And
can you believe how deluxe this is?
Fantastic bathtub.
It's amazing.
Let's have a look.
Yes.
Pulls right up to your house. We're in my driveway, everyone, in case you were curious.
Yes, and actually I don't have to plug into anything. I have warm water already. I do have an option to plug in for electricity, just it's a little more earth friendly, but I do have a generator too if you happen to live in an apartment or something like that. You can see over here that I use a lot of earth-friendly products. Actually, I use all earth-friendly products. So, like, Earth Bath is really great. We use some Relic, which is uses some volcanic ash minerals and whatnot, which really helps with skin issues. And then we have, of course, from the same company, our fabulous little perfumes. That's all aromatherapy based and natural.
And these are one of the many ways that she comforts. Here, I'll come up. So I'm not the talking head,
Come on in.
but the talking voice from the background. These are one of the many ways that with the work that she does, she comforts the dogs because, of course, aroma, really working with their senses, is a great way to help dogs to find that balance, that place of Sama, from Sama dog. That's what that means, is the place of balance. So coming back to that place of balance easily through the senses. So with her comfort, her touch, her presence, the aromas, the sights, smells, sounds, the whole 9 yards makes a big difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
We use very small amounts of aromatherapy, specifically lavender, because it's very, very calming to a dog. You can even use some with your own dogs at home on a small little cotton ball, and you can place it somewhere where it won't be right in their nose, but it'll actually use a calming effect, not only for yourself, but then for your dog as well, or your cats too.
That's how you stay calm all day too, working with all these dogs.
My mama is my helper. She's not here today, but she also does dog massage, which helps to soothe the dogs in there.
Okay.
Within the environment. So I think we're gonna take our way out here.
And we can back up too and kind of show the whole.
Yeah, this is all about the way we can see there. We then we use other natural stuff like coconut oil for like dry noses and skin issues there. I have some neem stuff here for fleas and all that good stuff. And there's our lavender, of course.
Nice.
Yeah, it's so clean, eh? It's like sterile in there.
Awesome.
We
Amazing.
sterilize the band every day. It goes through a very long cleaning process.
I bet. And then she just comes up like this and pulls up to your house and plugs her in and off you go.
Plugs her in. Exactly. And the dogs will come out.
So as we make our way inside and see our beautiful furry friends who have haircuts, 2 of them at least have haircuts from Cherise. Hi, Graham. You stay in there. Here's Maya demonstrating her beautiful hairdo. Come on, Maya, come on. Everybody in. Come on, we're going in, everybody.
Excited. Making our way in. Really excited. Hi, guys. All right. Oh, well, my goodness. You are ready for your time in the camera.
Yes, he is. All right, so we're just getting a little situated here. Resituated. Here we are in our studio. This is actually our B&B for dogs. For those of you that don't know us and aren't too, just down a little bit, and aren't too familiar with our work with Sama Dog, by the way, we one of the things that we do is we have a B&B here in San Diego. And that's where, of course, we're established. That's kind of where our work is. And with Tranquil Trims, that's where she pretty much, her range is. Obviously, it's a physical truck. But we will talk tonight about how to find a good groomer in your area. What are the benefits of mobile grooming and versus going to the salon.
And we have already 2 questions.
Oh, fantastic!
Yes, are you
so
guys
let's welcome some of our guests. Who's on the line?
Christina is live.
Christina.
Vanessa is live. And Christina, she just asked, I love the tour of the grooming truck. I wanted to know what shampoos are the best for dogs with skin allergies.
Mm-hmm.
Skin allergies is a very good question.
Yeah, so we can answer a few questions, and then I want you to tell a little more about your story.
Okay, very good. The Earth Bath product that I use has a hypoallergenic that you can use that'll help with the skin issues. Also, the Relic I was showing, they have different ones like lavender, pomegranate. They also have one that has no scent, but that specifically has those volcanic ash and whatnot in it that helps with that skin, helps with odor and whatnot. So
Yeah.
those 2 are really good to use for skin.
Nice. Nice. So, if we have any other questions, we can take another question, or I'm just going to keep on keeping on. So do let us know that you're here. If you're jumping on the line, we're talking about grooming tonight for anyone that is new and just coming onto the show now. This is Cherise, by the way. She is the founder, the creator, the inspiration behind Tranquil Trims, a mobile grooming service here in San Diego. Come on, Ben. And she has helped me so much with our pups. So, if we have any other questions, we can technical,
Now you know what you sound like.
Yeah, exactly. That's a familiar voice. And then my name, I didn't really introduce myself at the beginning. I think most of you might know, but my name is Amanda Ree. I'm the founder of Sama Dog, a company that shares with the world well-being for dogs and their humans. We love to take a holistic, a mind, body, spirit approach to these furry friends, to how we raise them, how we care for them. And that's what we're doing is every Tuesday night we have this show on the I Love Rescue Dogs page. We talk about healing lessons from rescue dogs and their humans. So we share various aspects of what can help our dogs most. And we try to really get into all of you, all of our viewers, what do you need help with? So always tell us, give us feedback, tell us if there's anything else that you'd like us to feature or dive into. So when I met Cherise a while back, and she helped my little boy Benny here so much, and he loved his haircut, and he loved seeing her again. Even tonight, he was like all over her. And when I saw that experience, I thought this is a great something to share with the world. And I know that there is no one probably just like her in this world because she's very special, but there's likely some others that are similar. So now I'll turn it over to you, girl, and just share with us. I would love to know a little more about how did you get into all this?
That's an interesting story. I was working for a doggy daycare, and at that time they had a groomer that was kind of on and off. She would come in. She would sometimes be there, sometimes not. And I remember the day that she ended up not being able to work there anymore. I told my boss at that time that I would go and take a grooming course and hopefully would be able to be the groomer when I come back. So I signed up for my grooming course up in Tahunga, California, actually. And I took let's see, it was probably about a 2.5-month course. I drove there and back every day.
Oh my gosh.
That
is
from
devotion.
Monday through Saturday.
Wow.
Yes, because I had other things down here that I was doing at that time. And so I went up there, I got certified.
Nice. And that was how long ago?
That was back in 2007. So
okay.
Almost 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then we were just talking before the show, but then what gave the inspiration for Tranquil Trends, and how did you come up with it, and when did you launch it?
Well, actually, it started back with my very first dog that I was ever able to groom, and I actually have a picture of him.
What's his name?
As I pull him up, his name is Bodie, which is really interesting because your guest last week was talking about the Bodhi tree, and that Bodhi meant awakening or awakened, and that's kind of what this little dog did for me. He was a rescue dog. His story was he had been found in the backyard in a ton of weeds. He was completely matted, but the big deal about him was his feet, and he had burrs and stuff that were ingrained in his feet that they had to kind of get out.
Such a bad spot for that.
So his feet were really sensitive, and he was really kind of afraid of any kind of touching with feet. So what I did was I worked with him, even on the first groom, with just slowly getting him used to the clippers, and then slowly going over his feet. And he wouldn't let me touch him at first, but throughout the process of consistency, with touching his feet a little more each time, and so first I had to scissor his legs, and then it was grooming him completely. By the end, rest his soul, by the end of his life, I had been grooming him for about 4 years, and he was completely fine.
He was fine
with his feet being touched, and he didn't have to be soft muzzled anymore. He trusted. He knew exactly what we were doing. Awesome. And it was at that time that I started to realize that there was something there with a way to connect with these dogs and a way to use positive energy and a positive surrounding to help these poor animals that had been through such a traumatic experience, whether it was with a previous groomer or with just their life in general.
There's definitely a place for it.
To bring them back to trusting something that is really part of their lives with certain dogs.
I'd love to even just think about trust, in relationship with our pets, especially with our rescued animals, is that they, trust is the bridge that heals all wounds, really. And if you can get them to trust you, which you obviously have a knack for, and animals are so intuitive to that, so you have to have a special formulation. But when you do, and you can build that trust, that you can help them come over so many things. It really inspires me to see that even compared to humans. Humans, of course, have been through so much as well, and hold that. And where dogs, they can go through these unbelievably difficult situations, and they don't really hold it. They just let it go, and they want to move into the present and want to be happy now and want to be free and healthy now and just let it go. And it's a beautiful inspiration, isn't it? Of how to live our lives. I love that saying, when something happens in life, take after your dog, kick some grass over that shit and move on.
Exactly.
All right, so that's very cool. So tell us tonight, as you know, our viewers that are with us regularly at least, that sometimes, most of the time, we start with some rescue stories. But this time, I thought what we could do, because in speaking with Charisse, I heard that she had all these amazing stories about these rescue dogs and what they'd been through and how they came to her and how they dealt with their grooming experiences. So I thought we could feature a couple dogs and just tell a little bit about their story and show some pictures if you have any.
Yes, let me just grab this really quick.
And if any of you that are watching have any questions about grooming, you've had any struggles with grooming, you have, you don't know where to find a good groomer or what questions to ask, please let us know. And we'll why don't we do this? Why don't we tell a story? And then we'll get into just a few tips around those topics so that we give everybody some guidance in case they're not able to have your services.
Yeah, of course. That sounds good.
Yeah.
So here's one of our doggies. His name is Harper, and I don't know if they can see.
Here, I'll take it out. You can
pop
it
right
up
up there. Ah, this is Harper. And Harper's little story. Throughout his first year of life, he was caged and kenneled, basically. And so he had a great fear of being enclosed. I'm not sure what the story was, basically, when he was in these kennels. He had a fear of enclosed areas, specifically cars and just rooms in general. So when I was first called to do him, I worked with the owner to calmly bring him out to the van to kind of get him used to, this is where we go.
Just that, the van pulling up just alone is interesting for the dogs because it's not the same experience as before.
Right.
So right there, they're a little more open, I noticed, with mine.
Oh, yes. And it's all about how one approaches the situation, even as an owner with their dog. That can also affect some of how the dog starts to understand what's going on. So if the owner's really nervous about it, then the dog is going to be really nervous about it. It's just kind of how it plays.
That's another part of what I teach in Sama Dog so much.
Exactly.
It's a reflection, whether it's nervousness or whether it's aggression or even recently I spoke with someone that was just very depressed. Their dog was feeling depressed too. Even like digestive issues. I've even noticed recently I've been not eating consistently as I should. That's kind of something I'll do when I get busy. And I've noticed that Benny, my little guy, you can see we're so connected, he's same thing. He just won't eat as regularly. And so our dogs are very much our reflection. And that is certainly what you're seeing when you see that the two come up to you probably and the whole experience starts. So that's where we can put a tip in right there, right? That just be really mindful of our own interaction and energy around the dog and kind of making sure that you hold a really calm state of being, and that's what they'll stay in. At least better.
Yeah. So when they brought Harper out to the van for the first time, we helped him get into the van, and he was very, very nervous, very afraid. So we just closed the doors, and I let him kind of settle down. We worked with him to get him up on the table. It took a few times because he was really afraid because it was kind of not enclosed. So it was just a process of kind of connecting with the dog, understanding their fear, and if you connect with them properly, you can actually kind of almost hear what they're saying and what they need. It's really interesting. So I got him up on the table and I talked to him about what we were doing, because what I've noticed in my 10 years is that all of the dogs that I've ever groomed, if you talk to them like I'm talking to you right now, they understand you.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear you say that, Charisse, because I tell people that all the time too when I'm working with clients, and I'm always telling them, they said, well, my dogs can't understand. They don't speak English necessarily, or they don't speak conversational, right? But it's not that. It's really, I think we mentioned this last week even, it's really about the intention that you have behind your words. Even when we can't understand English, someone's intention can be different than what their words are, and we hear the intention more. So dogs kind of cut to the chase, and they just hear the intention. So your intention is so good at that moment. They're hearing you.
Exactly. So I walked him through, got him up on the table. We got him into the bath. He was very nervous, but we were able to get through the bath process and do a little bit of drying. We got through a little bit of that, and within that, he was starting to have a positive experience. He was starting to calm down, and I can usually tell when they get to that point. So we brought him out, did what I could, and then we take him back in. Because if a dog is having an issue with something like that where it's fear, if you feed into the fear and he's able to jump out of the bathtub, or we just say, oh, forget it, we're just going to take him back in, we're not going to do it again, he's going to start understanding that, oh, I can do that to get out of this.
Yeah,
so you're right. so
what is the best thing? I think you were saying that, but just to kind of get another tip there, clearly, is when our dog is in a panic situation like that, what is best to do so that they don't learn how to create the behavior that you don't want, which is like, okay, fine, it's not going to work. Or I'll just go back in the house if they're going to bark so much when I leave. So what is it, do you think, is the best way?
Well, let me use an example. So yesterday I was doing this sweet little puppy, and it was probably his second groom, and he didn't like the scissors around his face or around like his neck area. So when I would get to that area, he would kind of start to nibble on my on my wrist. But even starting at that age, if you were to pull back or you were to stop or you were to go, just completely just make a big deal out of it, he's going to realize that he can get a reaction out of you, or get a reaction out of anybody just from doing something like that. Mm-hmm. And something as simple as that can turn into later on, oh, I can bite somebody to get out of this. Mm-hmm. So the idea is to not stop what you're doing, even if they are trying to get out of it. Gently, positively continue what you're doing until you're finished, so that way they understand. Mm-hmm. You're kind of making a line for yourself too, that you're kind of in charge.
Mm-hmm. Without force, just kind of stand where it is, like this is what's happening.
Correct.
I often will also kind of feel like the words in my head, and I'll share this with people too, is I got this. Like as the human. Yes. Like, I got this. Because that's why dogs sometimes, I think, get a little insecure and uncertain, is because they're not sure who's in control. Exactly. Am I okay? Is their internal question. And so if you say, you're okay, I got this, no problem, then they're just like, oh, okay, then I can get back into my dog position, which is just like being present and knowing that everything's fine. I'm safe.
Because if you are nervous or something along those lines at the same time that they are, then they don't know. Then they don't know what they need to do. And they feel like they need to do something to help the situation.
And there's like mixed signals, right?
Yes.
So I'm just gonna check in real quick on the line and.
It seems like the signal is breaking up a little bit, so maybe people can watch the rerun, or we have to restart the broadcast.
Really? Okay. Oh, it's going.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
It's jittery a little bit.
They're all trickling off.
So let me then stop and restart real quick.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
I'll stop and restart.
Okay. Or maybe you can just turn it off and then...
Yeah. I'll stop the streaming and then I'll turn it back on.
Are you sure? You're still on the line.
Okay, then let's... maybe people can let us know if the streaming is not so good.
Can you see it?
No, I turned mine off to have all the internet for it.
Maybe just jump on there and see.
Just keep going.
Okay.
So basically, we, through a process within the last year of doing a little bit more each time and a little bit more each time and getting him a little more trustworthy of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Now he runs up to the van, he jumps inside, and he jumps on the table, and he sits there and he looks at me like, I'm ready for my bath.
That's awesome.
It is so sweet.
Yeah. What a reward for you, I bet, every time he does that.
Oh,
it's excited.
I get excited about that because it just tells me that, the energy work that I do and all of that is helping these dogs. Mm-hmm. And that's really what I want to do and what I really want to see is these positive results.
Yeah, certainly. Mm-hmm. Okay, so hopefully you guys are seeing us. We can now... Oh, I don't think they can hear. Uh-oh. I see a message. Oh, okay, we'll come back to that.
I can stop and restart.
I guess so. We're going to lose our connection with all our people. That's how it goes.
Well, yeah, let's see. I don't hear now any complaints.
Nothing there?
Okay. So let's keep going.
I think restart it is what it's sounding. Oh, it looks like The sound is great. The video part is slow, they're saying.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
So there's some connection at least still. So
Right.
yeah, keep telling us, guys. We don't want to hang up and disconnect everyone,
Yeah.
but want you obviously to be able to hear and see us, or else
Yeah.
this is a very boring show. Quite confusing as well. So anyway, we'll just keep on keeping on for right now and see how it goes. Anyway, back to it. So it is 5:25. Now it's like 5:26. So we cannot start this part of our conversation without the fantastic sign for the Fast Five at 5:25 or 5:27 sometimes. So here we go. These are our 5 questions for you to get to know you a little bit better, Charisse. In addition to your amazing grooming world story and background, what else is Charisse all about? That's the real question. A favorite book or movie?
Oh, favorite book or movie? Wow, I have so many. I would say in the movie world, it would be, well, Lord of the Rings was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I Must Love Dogs.
Uh-huh.
I like that one.
That is a good one. And oh so true. Okay, question 2. A funny dog grooming story.
I have one. I have a client with a doggy named Ryder,
Mm-hmm.
and he's this big black lab mixed with he's just really hairy. He's one of those hairy dogs. I can't remember what he's mixed with, but whatever it is, looks like this rug.
Yeah.
And he gets a little bit nervous about being in the car. He has like a separation anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
But when I start to groom him, I will turn on some music and I will sing to him. Because that's the only way that he calms down.
Oh.
And it's interesting, he only likes girl songs. So, Adele, Sia.
Which one of my
I'll
favorites?
try to sing him something like Bruno Mars, and he's just like,
He won't have it.
they won't have it.
That's awesome. Dogs are amazing, aren't they?
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun.
That's fantastic.
He'll go back to his whining, but
Yeah. Makes it more entertaining, at least, for everybody involved.
Yeah.
Next one. When you want to get away, where do you go or what do you do?
I meditate.
Oh, we
what I
have
like
not
to
spoken
do.
about that much. I'm quite the meditator as well, you know. And, so, how long have you been meditating?
I've been meditating for most of my life.
Mm.
Actually, almost all of my life. Yes, I have.
Wow.
I recently came across a wonderful gentleman named Dr. Joe Gallenberger
Mm-hmm.
that has some really wonderful meditations out for positivity, bringing to you what you put out.
Uh-huh.
So that's
Law
what
of
I'm
attraction. Cool.
working on right now. Yes.
Love it. Love it. Your hidden talent.
My hidden talent. I'm a singer.
Maybe-
I'm a vocalist for a local group.
And do you write songs too?
I do write songs. Yes,
Uh-huh.
I'm a lyricist as well. I can't make the music for them though. That's the difference.
Maybe some of our friends on the line, I'm just going to check in again and see, because I bet you some of them, your voice makes anyone calm down because it's a beautiful
Aw.
voice. Yeah, I knew it.
Thank
I had
you.
a feeling Brandy is there.
Aw.
The video's a little slow,
Oh
they
yes,
say. But
Brandy. Hi, Brandy. Yes.
so I hope everyone can see and hear this, because I would love for you to, maybe you can sing the song that you sing to that big white shaggy dog. Let's hear it, girl.
Oh, I would love to. Okay, but I'm going to use Benny, okay? Are you
Okay.
okay with that?
Okay.
He's like, okay, sort of.
He doesn't have this experience when I sing to him, so this is new. He's like,
We'll see if he pays attention. Some people want it all, but I don't want nothing at all. If it ain't you, baby, if I ain't got you, baby. Some people want diamond rings, some just want everything, but everything means nothing if I ain't got you.
wow, that's
Whoa.
beautiful. Betty
That's
loved
beautiful.
it.
Excellent. Wow.
See the tail wag?
Talent here.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
awesome. Well, that definitely should not be a hidden talent, and hopefully is is shines as brightly as the rest of your service. You know,
You
who
sing to
you
the
are.
dogs like that?
No,
or-
Yeah,
I
she
do.
does.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Okay, our last question
Okay.
is, what's your sign? Your astrological sign.
I am a Leo on the slight cusp of Virgo.
Uh-huh.
So
When's your birthday?
August 19th.
Oh, it is, really?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
right in the other end.
Yeah.
But I believe that the Virgo part kind of grounds the
Mhm.
fiery part of Leo.
The Virgo part is what keeps that van so
Yeah.
darn clean and span and every label facing forward. When someone does
Everything
that,
organized.
they're really organized.
That's very true.
That's fantastic. So, okay, so let's, oh, wait, I wanted to tell a quick story. We have our stories, as you guys know, and I mentioned that we're going to tell some stories within this, but I did want to share one story from our viewers because I love being able to kind of connect all of us, you know, whether in the physical sense or the online sense. So this little guy here, Benny's in my lap comfortably, so let me arrange myself and come up there. Oh, we've got our low chairs, you know, for dog talk. So this here is King and his mom, Jen. And King is a beautiful little Maltipoo who was rescued by his mama about 2.5 years ago from the border of down by Mexico. Since we're in San Diego, a lot of the rescue dogs here come through that way. And we think that he was a street dog, pretty sure, because of the way his behavior was. And so Jen just was struggling with King for years, really with his anxiousness and constantly hiding under the bed and being really fearful of other dogs. And she's been watching our show and tuning in with our work over the last a few years really, and kind of bringing in some of the tools. So we started working together more recently, and King actually came here and stayed in the B&B, the dog B&B that we have at our home, where we can do overnight boarding, but we also do some rehab work with the dogs, whether it's physical or behavioral. And so King came in, you know, a depressed guy, having hung out under the bed for like several years mostly, and didn't want to go outside on walks and didn't want to have dog friends. And we worked with him for a couple weeks, and our pack did a lot of the work in helping him to understand that other dogs can actually be a lot of fun and very friendly and nice to be around. And we got him to come out from under the bed, so to speak, and join the family and get some exercise and re-engage in life again. And it worked really well, and Jen's so grateful, and she's doing amazing work with little King, keeping it all going back home and really following the best, you know, kind of ways that she can to help him have the best life possible. So this is one very devoted dog mama, and I want to thank her and little King. And if you guys are watching,
little dog, by the way, I
Oh,
had the
yes.
honor of
Cherise
grooming
groomed
him.
him.
Yes,
Yes.
he's such a dog.
He is such a sweet boy.
He is such a
So, okay, so in our time that we have left together, I would like to leave and just really share and then leave with everyone some practical tips when it comes to grooming. So I know from people I speak to, there's a few things. One is just fear of grooming in general, like fear of going to the groomer. So we talked about that a little bit. But what about like home grooming, like the nails especially? Now that's one area that a lot of people struggle with. And then you see these dogs with these like crazy long nails, right? That is really not good for them. Hurts, can upset their spine and the alignment of their body and be unhealthy. So what do you suggest?
I definitely suggest either getting some of the scissor type nail clippers. And if your dog has black nails, because this is seemingly a
Tricky.
Yes, tricky, exactly. A lot of my clients will ask, how do you tell when you're getting close to the quick on a black nail? So if you take the tip of, I wonder if he'll let me do it. Will you let me do it? If you take the tip and you push it up so that you can see underneath the nail, and you start to slowly start to trim back little bits at a time, you'll start to see a little black dot that starts to show. When you see that black dot, you stop. Because you're getting close to, yes,
that's the bloodline.
You're getting close to it, yes. And you will not cut the dog. If you pay attention to it.
So you're kind of shaving it. You're kind of shaving it away.
Yes.
You're peeling it away.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Another
Smart.
option is they have some Dremel tools that are specifically made for dogs. Especially if you have dogs with black nails, you can always use that to slowly sand.
It's great.
back.
So we've learned to do. With Benny, I use like this small kind of shaving technique. But with Graham, he came with phobia, serious phobia about his feet being touched.
Yeah.
So another thing that I'd never thought of and then finally started doing recently, and maybe just helping you guys out at home, is if your dog really hates getting his nails trimmed, but you're doing it at home, and I do recommend, actually, I don't know what you feel about that, but if your dog is really terrified of getting its nails done, if you can do it, if the human companion can take care of the dog, it's a little better in some cases than taking it out for that service specifically, because then they go out, they get that service, it's very scary, and then, of course, they're going to have trauma around that. If you at home can be kind of just chilling out, and then what my tip was that I was going to share is do just 2 nails at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we do with Graham. I'll get my Dremel, and we'll just do 2. By the time he figures out how much he hates this, we're done. And then
that works.
And then we're done.
And then next time you can do 3.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And then we just work our way around his whole body, and it pretty much starts over again when we get to the beginning. But it works really well, and it's very much desensitized him to the experience of the whole nail clean trimming process. So it's been a good one.
Another thing you can do is start to play with their feet or just touch their feet while you're watching TV. This can kind of help with the sensitivity and get them used to it, especially if you have puppies, that you start with touching the feet, touching the ears, touching the mouth and all of that stuff and get them used to it.
Yeah, great idea. Great idea. And then another tip or something that you feel like more people need to know, especially with rescue dogs.
I would say for any situation, whether it's going to be a shop or a mobile groomer that you're bringing to your home, California requires that a groomer be certified, not licensed. There isn't anything for that yet, but definitely ask the groomer to show you their certification if you can. I carry mine on my phone if anybody asks, but I think that's something that is a really important point, because if they haven't been through that schooling, or they've been, you're asking for cuts and risks and all to falling off the table and all of that stuff that may not be that may be avoided if you ask.
Good tip. Good
yes,
tip.
For certain.
Yeah. And anything else that you want to share? You were telling me a very interesting, another hidden talent. I don't know if it's a hidden talent, but another aspect of this beautiful creature is that the way you get strong in order to lift these dogs, because you're probably taking dogs that are like 100 pounds, and you're less than probably 100 pounds, or real close. Just my guess. Yeah. And so, what's your secret to becoming superhuman?
My secret is I'm a CrossFit coach. I've been doing CrossFit for 6 years, and this is really what I think has helped me to stay stable and strong and learn how to properly lift, because that seems to be a complaint with most groomers as they continue through their careers, that at one point, they throw their back out or something like that. If you continually exercise and you continually keep, something with weights or lifting the weights in it, then a 100-pound dog will not be as intimidating as it would be if you didn't.
Exactly. That's understandable. So if someone wants to find a mobile groomer, because, I'd like to hear, in closing, your thoughts on mobile grooming, obviously, certain perspective being one. My perspective on mobile grooming is just any time that you can have an experience that's literally closer to home, that you can see, you can bring your dog right out there, you can go and see him if you wanted to. It might be a little distracting, the groomer won't guide you on that, but you can see them. They're not there for very long. Some of these salons, you go drop them off at 9 in the morning and you pick them up at 7 at night kind of thing, and who knows what's happening. So those are some of the obvious reasons to me. So I'd love for you to share with us, please, is anything that I haven't mentioned about why mobile groomers are a great thing, and how does someone find a good one in their area?
Well, mobile grooming, I think, is really, really good because, like you were saying, you drive right up to the home. The dog is able to be in their own surrounding, I believe. So, for instance, we'll bring a dog into the van, even if it's for the first time, and I'll open up the windows to, let some air through, and they start to sniff and smell, and so they realize that they are in their own environment, in their front yard, basically, which I think makes them a little more calm. Also, for them to be able to see their home.
Mm.
I have some dogs that will just sit there and watch out the window, and that just seems to calm them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get
That's nice.
you don't get the environment of 10 or 15 dogs in the same room at the same time that are all very nervous, which can in turn make your dog very nervous or unsure of the situation.
Imagine if we were there with like 15 screaming people.
Right.
Pretty terrifying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I think that you can get really personable with the groomer. I mean, this is the person that's going to be handling your dog, and probably for many years. So you want to be able to talk to them and correspond with them. Whereas if you take them to a big place, you might hand them off to someone who will hand them off to somebody else who will hand them to somebody else, and it just seems to be a more positive experience all the way around. Because I've worked in shops as well, so it just seems to be a more positive experience to have that van come to you.
Yep, you know the behind the scenes.
Right.
Yeah.
How to find a good one in your area? I would definitely suggest you can Google search. You could also go through some different apps. I think there's an Angie's List and whatnot of stuff. But I would definitely read reviews. I would definitely check out a website, read reviews. I would even ask if that person would make a quick visit to your home before they even come to do your dog, especially if you have a rescue dog that's really nervous, and do an initial meeting. Because that way you get to see the person, you get to see the van, you get to look for how clean it is.
Your dog gets to meet the person?
Exactly, and your dog especially gets to meet the person, because your dog's going to be able to tell you if they like them or not.
And when the person comes back, assuming that they're a good groomer and you want to go with it, when the person comes back, your dog's now familiar with that person, and it's not some stranger that takes them into some strange van with all these loud noises. Yeah, those are good.
Yes, so definitely. And then just go with your own feeling, too. Yeah. If you meet that person and you just don't feel that there's a connection for you or your dog.
Great. Well, I wanted to share a couple things. And if anybody has any questions, then definitely let us know. Our connection is a little bit funky, but I think that we can get your questions in, and if we don't, then we definitely will answer them after. So if you want any info from Charisse, we'll stay in touch with this feed all week. But I did want to mention that tomorrow night with Samadog, my organization that I mentioned earlier, you can check it out at samadog.com or go over to the website, or the Facebook page rather. But tomorrow night, Wednesday evening, we have a webinar, an online workshop really is what it is, but it's a video workshop online with Kathleen Prasad, who is a woman that specializes in animal Reiki. And I'm going to be speaking about Ayurveda, and we'll talk about the seasons and balancing our dogs and our own power that we have to influence our dogs. And a big part of it is about calming anxiety and fears, and how Reiki energy work can do a great job at that. So combining that with an amazing groomer that really knows how to handle these situations, I'm sure can totally transform the circumstance and therefore the memory, and then therefore the future for your dog. So you might want to check out that webinar tomorrow night. I'll put the link below. And in closing, I was thinking maybe you could sing for us again, because it's so beautiful, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to get to a show.
Yes, let's see.
So the dogs are requesting it. I can sense it, and they'd like to hear another ditty to close us out. And we will see all of you next week. We have our show every Tuesday night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the I Love Rescue Dogs page. Next week, we'll be talking with Amy McElroy, who has an organization called Grief Pets. So we're talking about the experience, the time in which our pets are coming to the ends of their lives, and how to deal, and the emotions around that, and some inspiration behind that. So that's what we'll be talking about next week. We'd love to have you join us. And we will send you out with a serenade.
Now here you go again. You say you want your freedom, but who am I to keep you down? And it's only right that you should play the way you feel it, but listen carefully to the sound of your loneliness, like a heartbeat drives you mad. The stillness of remembering what you had and what you lost.
I love it. Beautiful. Oh, Betty has to stand up. He's so excited.
Fleetwood Mac.
Thank you
so much.
Excellent.
Oh, thank
so
you
much
for
for
being
having
here.
me.
Thank you. You guys definitely reach out to Charisse. I'll for sure put the link below. Tranquil Trims, it's called. If you're in the San Diego area, she is your girl. I guess that's how far you go. I didn't really ask you, but
Yes,
Yeah.
we go pretty much anywhere from La Jolla on up down the 5. We don't really go out east, like down the 8, but we do make exceptions.
nice. Well, definitely stay in touch, and lots of love to all of you and your furry friends. We will see you next week. Peace. Have a great week, everyone.